You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Now, the two big ones that Syracuse has to worry about in its non-conference slate are undoubtedly the ones for Tennessee and Notre Dame. Syracuse is going to beat Colgate. They're an FCS opponent, barring a catastrophe of epic proportions. I don't believe Syracuse has ever lost to an FCS opponent in their history. Knock on wood. Right? So Colgate shouldn't have to worry too much, right? Syracuse should most likely, again, I said this on the previous podcast, they should beat UConn. They should. But if they're not careful, things can get interesting, especially because UConn is coming off their best season since 2007. And if UConn plays the same way in 2025 and Syracuse takes their foot off the gas or they don't get good quarterback play in that one, maybe there's a potential for a home upset, but still, Syracuse should enter that game as probably a 10-point favorite at minimum, right? So they should be able to beat UConn. Who's the toughest quarterback that Syracuse is going to face in its non-conference slate? I'd love to hear your thoughts right now in the comment section below before we get to it, because I'll be honest with you, I got no idea who the toughest one is. We'll go in order here. We'll go to Tennessee, Joey Aguilar, and then we'll go to Notre Dame with CJ Carr. Okay, so Joey Aguilar, he is an Appalachian State transfer from this offseason. He was not supposed to be Tennessee's starting quarterback. That was supposed to be Nico Iamaleava. But then there was the whole spring fiasco with Iamaleava wanting more money to remain at Tennessee. Tennessee and Nico decide to part ways. Now Tennessee is stuck. They don't have a quarterback. So they go out in the portal and they go and get Joey Aguilar from Appalachian State. Actually, before they got Joey Aguilar, if I have my timing correctly, and regardless, this remains true, there were reports out there that were linking Tennessee with Steve Angeli before Steve Angeli decided to commit to Syracuse. Fun fact. But Aguilar is a very interesting quarterback that we're about to preview here because he had an awesome 2023 season. Played in 14 games, 64% completion percentage. That's pretty good. 3,700 yards. 33 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. That is a fantastic year for Joey Aguilar. But in 2024, he regressed significantly. He played 11 games, a 56% completion rate. So that's down 8 percentage points. 64% to 56%, 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. And I was trying to figure out, why did Joey Aguilar regress from 2023 and 2024? And I'll admit, I didn't get too deep into like what the offensive line was. I know that they had a different starting running back in 2024 compared to 2023. But you would figure the two biggest reasons maybe for whether a quarterback is going to get better or get worse was there a change to the coaching staff? Was there a change at the wide receiver position? All those factors could influence how a quarterback is going to play. And when you look at Joey Aguilar, his top three receivers were the same in 2024 as they were in 2023. And he also had the same head coach, the same offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach in 2023 and 2024. So he had the same receivers and the same coaching staff from one season to the next. That's not a good sign for Joey Aguilar. It's not. It doesn't mean that he can't rebound and have an awesome year at Tennessee, but that's not a good sign, right? Usually if there's some sort of quarterback regression, you could say, oh, well, look, that school changed offensive coordinators. They changed systems. Or look, that guy at Appalachian State, he was throwing to these amazing receivers, but it's Appalachian State. So, of course, they had amazing years, and then they left, whether it's the portal or going to the NFL draft. Neither happened. He had the same top receivers. He had the same coaches, and yet he got significantly worse. Not a good sign. And Syracuse, this is why, even though I'm going to pick Tennessee, I'm going to pick Tennessee to beat Syracuse in week 1. I don't see that opinion changing, to be honest with you. I know we still got little over 2 months until that game. I'm going to pick Tennessee from now until for good. And if Syracuse wins, fantastic. I'm a Syracuse fan. I'm a Syracuse alum. But again, I try to remain as objective as I possibly can. That being said, I give Syracuse a puncher's chance here. I don't know how good Joey Aguilar is going to be at Tennessee. It's not like he lit the world on fire when he was at Appalachian State last season. Maybe he'll be better because he's going to be playing with better coaches and better receivers, better offensive line, running backs, all that fun stuff over at Tennessee. But still, talent is talent. Does he have it or not? I'm not so sure. We'll find out, I guess, in week 1 when he plays Syracuse. And also, he makes a lot of mistakes. Even in his good year, he threw 10 interceptions, 24 interceptions over the past 2 seasons. Kind of what I said about Clemson with Cade Klubnik in terms of trying to pull off an upset here, right? Syracuse, top to bottom, talent-wise, is not going to be able to match up with Tennessee. Their best path to an upset is hoping that their quarterback simply doesn't have it. Because if their quarterback doesn't have it, makes a couple of mistakes, well, you give Syracuse extra possessions, that's how you can spark an upset. Well, I said with Clemson, that's unlikely with Cade Klubnik. With Tennessee, it could happen. I think it would be more likely than Clemson. Comment your thoughts in the comment section below. What upset do you think is more likely based on quarterback play? You think it's Clemson or do you think it's Tennessee? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. But that's one of the quarterbacks that Syracuse is facing in its non-conference slate. Then you got Notre Dame. You got CJ Carr, who's got 4 more years of eligibility remaining because he's about to enter his first full season as a starting quarterback in college football. So he doesn't have a lot of experience, but to me, that doesn't matter because Syracuse isn't going to face CJ Carr until the second last game of the regular season. Barring injury or underperformance, CJ Carr would have already started 10 games for Notre Dame before he plays Syracuse. So I'm not worried about the fact that, he doesn't have experience. I'm just saying that we don't know how good he is because he hasn't played yet. We'll have a better idea once we get into Syracuse and Notre Dame preview. That's going to be in November. But should be noted that CJ Carr this offseason, he beat out Steve Angeli for the starting quarterback job at Notre Dame. And obviously, Steve Angeli decides to enter the portal afterwards and go to Syracuse. Carr, he was also a high-end 4-star recruit in the 2024 recruiting cycle. And even if CJ Carr is not that good or has a bad day against Syracuse, I still think Notre Dame is going to win. I don't really think it's going to matter much because they have an elite running game, elite offensive line, elite defense. I think it's going to be very difficult for Syracuse to get any sort of offense going against Notre Dame. And to stop that run game with Jeremiah Love, who could very well win the Heisman Trophy this upcoming season, I don't see how Syracuse is going to upset Notre Dame unless they have a complete team stinker in that one, which they can do. I mean, they've done it before. They did it against Northern Illinois last year where they had a team stinker. But other than that, I don't see it. Whether or not they get good quarterback play, to me, it doesn't really matter.